when I make these bases for the rock forms, I just start subtracting some clay off of the piece. And typically I will subtract so that I'm making a base here that is more or less in the round shape and the size that I need to put the throne form on. So I'm just kind of subtracting that, getting a little bit of an angle going, trying to get a little bit of movement. And I'm using a Bill Van Gilder wire cutting tool. And I'll just kind of map out the form a little bit. I'm also going to be doing some additions to this. And I'm not being really literal or trying to copy rocks. I'm kind of using what I remember in my head from hiking around in the Shenandoah and getting some view of, rock outcrops and formations and things like that. So I'm going to also do additions because I really like to make these formations kind of jut out here and there. So I'm going to kind of rough up the side. Then I'm going to stick some vinegar on here just to, may not need it, but just a little insurance policy. And then I'm just going to start adding some clay. And this is a block of clay that I made that's actually solid. And I just make it sort of narrower at the top and a little bit wider at the bottom as the initial shape that I start with. Then I'm gonna just keep adding onto the side, just building up basically where I'm gonna be cutting away again soon. But I like to just build up some pieces so they already start looking a little, rock-like. And I'm gonna add a little bit all the way down to the bottom. Just getting a little bigger with my pieces of clay as I get toward the bottom. And I'll subtract and add a lot more to this as we go, but this is basically how I map out the pedestal for my forms. So that's pretty good. And then I'll just start working on it. Like I'll sort of make maybe some areas where the rocks sort of plateau. And none of this is really, it's kind of organic. It's not really thought out other than the basic form. And then everything from there is just kind of what I feel, how I feel things should look and should be. And it's constantly changing. When I finish this piece all around, I let it stiffen for a few days, and then I will dig out underneath and dig the bottom out of the piece. So because I need to hollow it out, just like you would any other sculpture that is very thick, for firing and drying purposes, I hollow everything out. So to texture rocks, I have this piece of asphalt that I found, and also other rocks that I pick up here and there that look like they might have an interesting texture, which helps me to texture in a more authentic way how rocks look. And again, it's not meant to be literal, it's just meant to be suggestive and the way I feel, basically about how I want these rocks to appear on the pedestal. It just gives me a little texture here and there. And this is also a nice place for the slip wash to go in to the crevices and make nice light and dark places on my form. And I'll do this, I might go back and do this again if I decide, oh, I want something else here or there. And I like sometimes shells I'll use. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, depends on how I feel, but I'll push those in because sometimes you find those sort of fossil-like forms in rocks. And they're just little impressions, another opportunity for the slip wash to get in there and really kind of highlight where, you know, the shells are in the rocks. Just opportunities for texture.